Hello, Vanakkam, and welcome back to my roundup of Euro 2020. Yesterday we had matches from the group of death, Portugal taking on Hungary and France taking on Germany. We'll come to Germany in a bit, but let's talk about Portugal first. Portugal scored 3-0 over Hungary, but until the 84th minute, it didn't look like that. Since this match was played at Budapest, there were about 60,000 fans in attendance, not all supporting for Hungary though, but that really helped Hungary. It was a very physical game with 3 yellow cards being given and more than 25 fouls committed. A lot of chances were created for Portugal, even though nothing got converted. The obvious one being the Ronaldo miss just outside the goal area. But you can blame it on the ball coming in too fast, Ronaldo not expecting the previous player to miss that ball. But Ronaldo himself couldn't believe he missed that. Now, how many of you remember the Euro 2016 game of Portugal against Hungary? It finished in a 3-all draw. It was an amazing game and Ronaldo scored that cheeky back heel goal. For the most part, Ronaldo was absent from the game, even though he did show some amazing runs and the ball did come to him, especially the one when he had to see the ball from the back and then he took a shot and he connected the ball so well, but the keeper stopped it. Now coming into the second half, it was the same. Hungary keeping out Ronaldo, keeping out the attack, and in the 84th minute is when Rafael Guerreiro just randomly kicked a shot which was a misconnect and hit the defender and then went into the goal. But with that goal, Portugal's confidence was up and Hungary's confidence was down. And then came the penalty that Ronaldo scored, and then give and go by Ronaldo into the D box and then receives the ball, cuts the goalkeeper around and then scores. And with those 2 goals, Ronaldo is now again broken a record for the most number of goals scored at Euros. Michel Platini had the record at 9 goals scored, and with these 2 goals, Ronaldo is now climbed up the ladder at 11 goals scored, all-time high. That sealed the victory for Portugal with those 3 amazing points, and the most important of all, the 3-goal advantage that they have right now in the group. France being behind them, and then Germany losing, and then Hungary losing. For now, the table stands this way: Portugal leading with a goal difference of 3, and then France comes in with a goal difference of 1, and then Germany, and then Hungary. Now the question to ask is this performance going to be enough for their rest of the group matches? Next up, they take on Germany and then France. And mind you, Ronaldo hasn't scored in the last 10 times that Portugal met either France or Germany. So that's the biggest question that remains, that if Portugal is going to struggle against Hungary like this, then it's going to be really hard for them against France or Germany. We'll have to wait for that, but now let's talk about France against Germany. Before we go into any detail, I want to talk about Hummels. Not the own goal that he scored for France, but the brave tackle that he did on Mbappe inside the D-box in the 77th minute. And doing that kind of a thing when you had given an own goal away. So just imagine the confidence that he had to do that. One of the best tackles I've ever seen. And the referee's decision was point on. Now France started off strong. They had a lot of chances. They could break into the German defense easily with a lot of space. That was what was surprising to me. And Germany too had their chances with a Thomas Müller header that, if connected well, could have on the back of the net. And then there was Gnabry's attempt to actually take a shot at goal, but then it didn't connect well. France too had a lot of chances. The most obvious one they could have scored was the one when Rabiot got the ball on the wing and then he ran and Griezmann was free in the center, but he didn't pass it and went for the goal, and then he didn't find the back of the net. Griezmann was really frustrated with that. Now the goal that actually France scored was an own goal by Hummels, and it was early in the first half itself that actually gave France a lot of confidence, and France did score in the second half with Benzema, but it was later flagged offside. Now the big question remains, is this enough for both these teams? While on one side Portugal was struggling with Hungary, France and Germany were struggling with each other. France is going to have it a bit easier because France is taking on Hungary in the next match and Germany is taking on Portugal. But we have to wait and see who is going to top the group. But right now the group stands like this: Portugal top of the group, and second place France finishes with 1 goal difference, and then Germany comes in, and then finally Hungary. When I predicted my Euro 2020 predictions, I placed Portugal and Germany on top and France finishing third. But right now France is in second position and the second game might be easy for them against Hungary, but we never know. If Germany lose to Portugal, then it would be nearly impossible for them to qualify for the next round. It was an interesting group of death matches yesterday, and this is my roundup of the incidents that happened yesterday. We also did a review of the India versus Afghanistan match. If you haven't checked that out, do check it out. You can click the card that comes up here. Now it's time for a quick quiz session. When Portugal took on Hungary in the group stage match last Euros, which was in 2016, what was the scoreline? I discussed that in this video. If you had followed along, you would comment it first. The first person to comment the right answer would get a shout out on my next video. So until tomorrow, signing off, Pradeep.